Hello friends, since I had a recent success story with the replacement of my battery, or at least on the second try that was a success story, today I have another replacement for you. And this is my attempt to replace the speakers, this is a speaker unit, on my ultra-wide monitor that I am using, which is the LG 38UC99. This will be a fun little challenge because, as far as I know, I have to at least unclip the whole back thing here. And of course, this is a curved monitor, which essentially means that I have to put something underneath. Now, I am obviously not a repair shop, and I would not necessarily advise you to do anything like this at home, but I want to try these kind of things and I want to share them with you so that you can either do that yourself or at least know a little more about these types of devices. Now, I already have the screen here, and usually I have this mounted with a mounting bracket that you can see right there on my desk on a bit of a stand or holder so that I don't have the normal foot there. But first up, I have to prop this up here so that I can actually work on this while it's lying down. And of course, for that, I have to prevent it from bending backwards or flattening down because it is curved. One other thing before we get started, if you try this at home, please don't come to me because I have no idea what I'm doing here. However, I do have a link for you to basically an assembly guide or kind of like an iFixit guide, just not from iFixit. And I will link that in the description down below, as well as the website where I was able to get the replacement parts. So without further ado, let's jump right in and try to prop this up in a way so that we can actually work on this. And I actually got myself a bit of a yoga mat right there, and as well as a blanket so that I can put these things or make it a bit of a soft surface, so to speak. I think that should be fine for the most part. The idea here being that it is basically preventing the screen from slipping away. And then I have this yoga mat, which I'll try to place in the center, which supposedly will help so that it does not crush onto the floor. And with that, we have the screen. And the yoga mat is a bit too thick. I think that's good enough for me. And now first things first, of course, I have to remove my mounting bracket. We have to remove this here as well, taking that out as a protective cover thing. And now taking a look at the guide, you can see that basically this is already everything I can remove. If you have the back cover or the normal foot here, of course you have to remove that. But essentially just taking out the service thingy or the surface protector right there and then removing this part. And now the next step based on this guide here is actually just to go in and get a bit of a thingy underneath here in the edges, so that right here on this edge and on this edge we have to basically unclip the monitor so that we can actually get in there, release the back cover completely. And then underneath there, we have the speakers, which are just here and here on these two places. So let's try and get in there without breaking anything. And this is one of those cases where, of course, plastic tools are a good idea so that nothing goes wrong here. And now after this whole ordeal, I think the back cover is ready to move. This has not been easy. A whole lot of little plastic plier thingies and force to get all of these clips moving. And I have to say, like, I would much prefer if these type of things would not be clipped, but like a couple of screws and a mechanism to like slide something in or something. Like the foot holder here, for example. The mechanism that this works with, like by being put underneath here and then clipping into place with the lever here. So much easier, but I guess this thing is made to never be opened, and so at least they are not glued together. So let's open this thing up and see what we have inside. And there we go. Everything accessible as we want to. Here are the two speakers, one of which is broken, and I think it's this one here, if I think correctly. It's this one right here. That's the left one. And there we have the right version. And I have my replacements right there. So this will be going in there. And this one will be going in there. So that everything is nice and replaced. And this is one of those moments where I feel like this is so interesting how simple the mechanism, for example, for this button here is. You actually just pull down these two rosters here completely. Fun. And then you have all of the other electronics here for like the button underneath and everything. But we are most concerned, or at least I am most concerned with these two. If you need to do anything else inside of this device, of course, do whatever you have to do. Now, after a quick test, I actually ran a bit of a sound test here to see whether or not actually these are defective, but they are. So it's not just a piece of paper or tape or something, because this was a little loose as well. Now, essentially, I am going to just unplug this here. So that's unplugged. This is the left side. So there's a big L right there, and I'm gonna have a couple of these numbers in the description below so that you know which one is which, because I actually purchased one of these before knowing that it's not a full assembly with both units, but it's that you get one unit and not both at the same time. So you have to actually get the right one if you just want to replace one, for example. But in my case, since I now have both units here, I'm gonna replace both. The left one here, obviously that's the broken one, so that's not gonna be used for anything else, but the other one, we'll see how that goes. And we have the replacement right there, and simply plugging that in, right like so. And then just putting it in to the washers, these like wobbly washers, so that it's safe and nicely done there. And then we have the other side, which again, just taking this out. And this is a relatively good one, so I'll keep that around. And then just plugging this back in. And just like that, these are replaced. And now all I have left to do is test if this fixes the problem, and it should, and then closing everything back up again, just clipping everything back into place. And I indeed was able to confirm everything works fine now, and it's time to place this little beauty here, the back cover, back in place. These teeth here really are a bit of an annoyance because it's super hard to get them open. But let's see how they close, if that's equally as hard. And just like that, the back cover is in place, and it is time for the mounting plate. And the last step, this little do not use thingy for the service USB port. I don't know what that's for, but everything is back in place. This thing is back in working condition, and now I just will mount it back onto the desk with these little holder thingies here. And I think I'm gonna close this video off with all of that. If you found this helpful or interesting in any kind of way, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you have questions around this topic, you can of course leave those in the comment section below, or connect with me on my Discord server, which will be linked in the description as well. All the resources that I've mentioned throughout this video, the take apart guide that I found, as well as the place where I got the replacement parts for the LG 38UC99 ultra wide monitor, you will find in the description down below. And with all that said, I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you can fix whatever you want to fix, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.